welcome back. No Democrats in the House or the Senate said yes to the GOP tax cuts.
State Representative David Crowley did not have a vote on the bill, but the Milwaukee Democrat has a lot to say about it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What's the first point you want to bring up?
Well, the issue is that this tax plan is not for Wisconsinites and not for middle-class families. What we see is that we see a tax break happening for the ultra-wealthy and the biggest corporations here in the state of Wisconsin across this country, but it doesn't do anything for middle-class families. We may see a tax break in the beginning, but ultimately we know that we're going to see our taxes go up. We see permanent tax breaks for businesses and temporary tax cuts for middle-class families, and that's a problem.
And I think some of the tax breaks that many people look for, like the education tax break, like the property tax breaks, are about to go out the window for those who actually benefit from them the most.
Absolutely. And when you see that, you have to ask yourself, what are we doing for middle-class families?
The Republicans would say what they're doing for middle-class families is helping corporations pay lower taxes that will help increase wages. Do you buy that argument?
I don't buy that argument. I mean, this is the trickle-down effect that we always hear people talking about on the Republican side. But you don't ever want to fill up your bathtub with trickling water. So why do we want to trickle down the money from the top wealthiest to middle-class families? We will never see that amount of money coming into our pockets. So it is not going to work.
On the health care front, by eliminating the mandate, Republicans have never liked the mandate. Is that going to raise some concerns for folks who are still in the plan trying to afford insurance?
I mean, absolutely. We know that we're going to have millions of more uninsured people. We know that there's going to be a hike in premiums. We know that whatever they're going to do around Obamacare is going to detrimentally affect state of Wisconsin and people all across this country. We need to make sure that people have quality access to health care. And the way we do that is to strengthen Obamacare, not to eliminate it.
Do you think that it is strengthening the insurance company more so than strengthening those who may need health care?
Absolutely. We need to make sure that we're doing things for middle-class families across this country. And that's what we're not seeing happening in Washington, D.C.
But do you think the way, the Affordable Care Act, when it was passed, was not very popular? It has gained in popularity as people have been on it longer. But there is concerns that it doesn't bring down the cost of health care, that the cost of health care continues to go up. Are Democrats trying to solve that problem?
I think everybody's trying to figure out how to solve that problem. It's not an easy task. We're doing everything that we can. I know that we're doing things we've always talked about, accepting the Medicaid expansion here in the state of Wisconsin to do what we can to make sure that people can pay for health insurance and expand the pool. But it's important that folks understand that it's not perfect. But we know that we can strengthen it. It is a foundation of where we can go as a country, and we need to make sure that we give people that access.
Has either party looked at, again, we're talking about the cost, and you're putting it on the person who's receiving the care, but not looking at the person who's giving the care. Is there any way that either party is looking at how to regulate the cost of medical insurance?
I think those conversations are being had. As a freshman legislator, I have been preview to a lot of those conversations, but I know that those conversations are being had, absolutely.
Well, let's go back to the tax cuts. When you look at what's happening out there, I mean, Representative Gwen Moore has been very vocal about what she thinks is the harm that could be caused by these tax cuts. But are Democrats supportive of tax cuts? Do there need to be cuts?
Absolutely, but for individuals who need these.
Just the people who make the most?
Well, no, definitely not the people who make the most.
No, I mean, should pay, cutting, should there be any cuts for people who make a lot of money? They're saying they pay too much money.
Well, you've had millionaires and billionaires sign on to a letter saying, don't cut my taxes. Matter of fact, we can tax some of them even more. I think we need to look at what we can do to strengthen the middle class, but more importantly, what we can do to strengthen small businesses. We can't continue to help out big businesses and big corporations while leaving the little folks out of the picture.
But if cutting the corporate tax rate now provides a $15 minimum wage, wouldn't that be a benefit?
It depends on who you're talking to. But I can't necessarily say that.
If it's Amazon, if it's...
But we're assuming that everybody is doing a manufacturing job and making less than $15 an hour in the middle class. And I think that's the sticking point, is that there are a lot of people who are in the middle class who are doing white-collar jobs that this tax cut will not help, because they're making a higher amount and they're not waiting on a corporation in a manufacturing firm to give them a higher tax rate or to give them a higher income.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, Representative Crowley, we appreciate you coming in.
Well, I definitely appreciate your time and allowing me to be here.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
An old Milwaukee holiday favorite has a temporary home this season.
Why the Kooky Cookie House had to move and where you and your family can now see it when 414 Forward returns.